Yeah, seriously, it's it's hard to it's hard to talk to a bunch of like
Blank
black
faces.
black faces. Seriously, I
Awesome. So I guess Gayatri, people will switch on their videos as and when
I
possible.
hope, yeah.
But let's get started. I think we have 35 participants on.
Okay,
So
super.
welcome everyone, and it's so great to have all of you on board. Today, Gayatri is going to share some insights on business management and economics as a major at college. So I'm going to let her quickly introduce herself and take it from there. Yeah.
Thanks, Nenika. Yeah, so I'm Gayatri. I work with the undergrad team. So students from halfway through grade 11 come to our team, and I've been with the Red Pen for some years now and studied in the US myself, helped my daughter when she was applying, and she's in the UK now, so I'm quite familiar with these geographies. And yeah, I studied human biology, but I'm now going to talk to you about business and economics. So let's get started. Oh, one sec. Yeah, can you see my screen? No, I don't think so. Okay, now can you see it?
Yeah, Gayatri.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. So I'm okay with questions. Nanika, what do you suggest at the end or?
Yeah. Any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box and we'll kind of be able to take all of them at the end. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm going to talk about economics and business. So economics, the first thing we think of when we think of economics is we think about money. At least that's what I used to do. But it's really about limited resources and allocation of limited resources. So it could be, at the national level, governments, or it could be at the, more at the individual level with businesses. So it's studied at many different levels. Macro and microeconomics are terms that you may have heard. So when we talk about like limited resources and allocation, it could be sort of food, healthcare, what policies the government is going to have, like welfare policies in India. You may have heard of some of them, like Ayushman Bharat or the Manrega scheme, where there's guaranteed like 100 days of employment for every wage earner. So it's the allocation of resources, policy, those sort of things. And at the micro level, it's more small businesses and how they decide to allocate their wealth, resources, whether they're going to maybe take loans or use their own money. And so those sort of things is what you would typically study as an economics student. If you take up economics in college, then some of the core classes that you will do would be introduction, to macro and microeconomics, a lot of math, calculus, statistics, accounting, econometrics, and then you can choose to focus on an area that interests you. So after students do a common core, in all economics students would do a common core set of classes. After that, you get to choose. So that those are what the term is called electives. And there you get to really focus if you want to do more sort of mathematical modeling like econometrics, quantitative economics. You want to study economics more on the political side where you study political economy, or things like game development, or focus on the environment, or focus on global economics, business economics. Those would all be areas that you could pick up as an elective and focus, have sort of a focused emphasis within economics. At college, economics, this depends on the university, but often universities will offer both a bachelor's of science and a bachelor's of arts, an economics degree in either of these. So typically a bachelor's of science, you can assume, will be more quantitative, more mathematical, whereas a BA will be more theoretical, but also a BA often gives you more flexibility. And so you have the opportunity of doing a double major, like if you're interested in economics and political science, or economics and philosophy. So a BA tends to give you a little more flexibility. A BS versus a BA at your, stage now, 9th, 10th, 11th grade students, you really don't need to be thinking about all this now. And often it is not in your choice. For example, I said I studied human biology, but I got a BA in it because that's how it was at my university. So, but just to tell you that those who like the math side can focus on that more, and those who want less of it have the option of focusing on other things as well. Okay, oops. So when you're thinking about economics, some of the things that you can think about, do you like sort of analytical reasoning, problem solving? Do you enjoy, do you enjoy reading the newspaper and seeing what the government is doing in terms of policy making? Do you enjoy comparing countries or comparing businesses and looking at patterns of behavior? Do you enjoy politics, history, even the environment, these sorts of things? Economics would be great for you if these are some of the things that you enjoy. In terms of what you should be studying now, you should be studying math. Regardless of how mathematical you want to go in economics, it is the basis of economics. And so don't drop math. Depending on the curriculum, keep math in your curriculum. And of course, where possible, add economics to your curriculum, 9th grade onwards, 11th grade onwards. But it's definitely wouldn't be a good idea to drop math. In terms of, extracurricular activities that you can do for economics, not just for your resume, as much as to explore whether it's something you would really enjoy doing, is do some extra research, a research project. If you are in the IB, you already do have, you will have a lot of research inbuilt into the IB curriculum, but you can still do more. And if you're not in the IB curriculum, then doing a couple of research projects, either find a mentor, of your parents' friends, a professor somewhere, or there are many organized research mentorship programs that the PCA team would be able to tell you about. So doing research would be a great idea to really understand whether this is also a right fit for you, this field of economics. Internships is another great opportunity. Again, this is often through the connects of your parents, because you all are very young, and so it's hard for anyone to really want a 15, 16-year-old, but look at helping out in a business, working, in a company, in a bank, even shadowing someone or going there and doing a mini project for them, working for a nonprofit. There are a lot of nonprofits that do work in the space of policy development, or work, they work in slums. They do many things in which you can take an economics angle and study it or work in it. Politics is another great sort of place you can look for some sort of work to do. Again, back on the more academic track, participate in competitions, essay writing competitions like the John Locke, and there are many others. Again, they will help you develop your knowledge about the field, and also to see if, this is again what you are enjoying doing. Also, investment competitions will teach you about money and allocation of resources. So that's a great idea. Participate in things like debate. They help you become more aware about the world around you and help you think critically, help you, build arguments that are coherent. So debate is another great option. And then things like, if you enjoy writing, then writing articles for things like even medium.com, or writing for your school e-magazine, or just starting a blog of your own to write about things you've read, summarizing it for, in a simple way for your classmates, things like that. And other ways you can, that won't sort of count as official extracurricular activities, but again, just to deepen your own understanding, is to watch the news regularly, watch CNBC, watch a weekly summary show like Fareed Zakaria talks about things happening in the world. So all these things will sort of broaden and deepen your knowledge about this field, read the newspaper. Economics has been around forever. You can study it in every country, everywhere, right here in India. So it's not like data science, which is new and evolving. It's been around forever. So the US, the UK, Canada, Europe, India, all the countries, and have all kinds of different economics programs which you'd be able to study. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to business. If you are interested in running a business or working for a business, starting your own business, business is a course of study that you could consider. So in business, you basically study the fundamentals of how to run a business, and those courses would include things like accounting, finance, sales and marketing, operations, applied economics. That would form the core base of what every business student would be doing. And then you have lots of opportunities to specialize, either build your own major or have a concentration in all these subjects that I mentioned, like accounting, finance, or even econometrics, where you use mathematical modeling, entrepreneurship, logistics, international business, and sort of a more general management program where you work more on strategy and human resources. So business is very interdisciplinary, just based on like the subjects I've mentioned that everyone would do. They would know something about marketing, something about accounting, etc. So it's very interdisciplinary and also very experiential. Internships, co-ops, work experience, all helps. So typical courses, like I mentioned, every student would be doing the basic core of what a business major requires, like accounting, finance, etc. And then you can delve deep into the area you're more interested in through your electives. And you could delve deep or go broad, where you could be doing things like business analytics or negotiations. How do you negotiate? You could work on advertising, marketing, public relations, financial decision making. So lots and lots of different options to go broad and also to go deep through your major or a concentration. Again, colleges offer either a BS or a BA or both. And again, this is not really something you need to be focused on at this stage in your life. But once again, a BS is more quantitative or mathematical in nature. So if you think of yourself as going into finance or analytics, investment banking, a BS, if there's a choice, would be the better thing to do. If you're more broad-based, you want more flexibility, maybe you want to do business and some other major, then a BA is good. If you are the kind of person, who likes solving problems, who likes leading, who likes to argue, who likes to network, who likes applied learning, and would like to work for a business, you have a family business, you want to start your own business, then a business undergrad degree is a great option for you. In terms of what you should be doing now, it's really keeping math, again, like for economics, is a very good thing, because it just strengthens your financial understanding that's required when you run a business, and also your chances of getting into a good college. After that, really, you can pretty much study anything that your school offers: economics, psychology, science, business, commerce, accounting, history, literature. It's really okay. But where you can work on, is your extracurriculars, where you can demonstrate leadership and execution, doing things. So it's working in your school or in your community, channel your interest. So if you are someone who likes sports, right, maybe you can organize a sports related, like a big sports related competition in your community, if you live in a large community with a lot of apartments. And so basically you're building skills of organization and execution of doing things. If you like music, maybe organize a big music fundraiser, or if you care about the environment, then do something in that. So develop your organizational skills, align them with your current interests in extracurricular activities. learn about social media and how that works. If you're interested in marketing, advertising, public relations, again, you can do internships are great for someone interested in business because they show you what the real world is like. So helping out, in someone's business, in a big, from a big business to a small family-run business would be a great idea. Similarly, working at a non-profit, an NGO, is also a great idea. Be a doer. That if you are a doer and you like the idea of doing things, then business is a great match for you. So do things, build up your experience in managing things, problem solving when they come your way, because that's what business is going to be all about. Oops, sorry. Yeah. So business, again, there are business programs all over the world and in India as well. In the US, there's a couple of things about business. Not every school in the US will offer an undergraduate degree in business. So if you're interested in studying business, then you need to apply to programs where there is an undergraduate degree. And there are also things called direct entry or indirect entry. So at some schools, you have to apply directly to the business program. At some schools, you start in a general education program, and after 1 year, or after 2 years, you go into their business program. In the US, there are also these specialist business schools where pretty much everyone is a business student, like Babson and Bentley. So if you're very sure that business is for you, then these programs are these schools have great programs and great opportunities as well. The UK, like it has for most other subjects, has 3-year management programs. At most of the UK schools have them. Canada also has typically 4-year programs. And in Europe as well, you will find schools with undergraduate programs in English. And of course, in India also, we have lots of options and they're growing. From NMIMS in Bombay, Christ in Bangalore. I mean, their programs all over India and increasing every day. So broadly, these two fields often go hand in hand when people are talking, and students often sort of go back and forth between these. In terms of what you can do, 5 years later, once you graduate, there are a lot of common careers, all right? But if you are someone who likes academia, who likes policy making, who maybe thinks one day I'm going to work for the World Bank or the IMF, or back in India at the Reserve Bank, then economics is definitely the field for you as opposed to business. So if you want to become an economist, if you want to research, analyze data, develop policy, understand trends, economics is the subject for you. Or any development, if you want to work for the Asia Development Bank, IMF, etc., then economics is the right field for you. If you are sure you want to run a business, start a business of your own, or work for your family business, then business is a calling for you. But otherwise, you will see here, there are a lot of common future careers, from investment banking to accounting to management consulting. You can go both ways with either major. So just to reiterate that, more academic, more policy making, more research oriented, economics is the right fit for you. More running a business, starting your own business, then business is right for you. I think that's all. So I'm open for questions. I can stop sharing. No questions? Yeah, go ahead, Naisha.
Yeah, Naisha.
Yeah, I have a question that if you want to pursue something in economics and you've not taken math at a higher level, but you've taken like math AA at a lower level, is that okay or no?
So are you in grade 11 or grade 12?
Yeah,
Or
I'm going to grade 11.
okay. Um, so I would say math AAHL makes you more competitive, but you can, I think it's okay to have math AASL. I mean, was it because you're not that comfortable with a higher level of math?
Yeah.
Yeah, so economics is highly quantitative, all right. But I would say that it's okay if you have, if you haven't done it. Math AASL is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Okay.
Nanika,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you
Naisha, as per our discussion, keeping in mind, of course, math AA and HL is of course great, but that's kind of keeping in mind your genuine interest and passions towards math, which I know in your case, it's not one of your most favorite subjects. So in that case, it's fine. Keeping in
yeah.
mind your other extracurriculars, your other subjects are kind of, you have a competitive mix of subjects and you're kind of scoring well in all of them. So it's fine in your case.
Yeah, because if doing math
Okay.
AHL is going to stress you out and have
Yeah.
you going crazy, it's not worth it. Hey, Devik, I've known Devik since he was born. Tell me, what's your question?
So I've selected math AAHL, but purely based on what I've heard from my seniors and people who graduated. Would math AIHL not be more applicable if I were to study economics because it's more about application and statistics?
So math has, I mean, econ has a lot of calculus in it also, Devik. And so um, if you feel that math AHL is going to be hard to cope with, then you could consider math AI. But if you think you're going to be able to manage, it's a you're strengthening your application by keeping it as math AHL. Nanika, you want to add to anything there?
Yeah, no, I agree with Gayatri. I think again it depends on Devik. What are your math scores at currently?
I'm starting 11, but so far, because I'm in
8, 10?
IT, I've been sevens, yeah,
You've been getting?
sevens. So it's a 7 out of 7.
Okay, okay, lovely. And you've chosen AI, correct?
No,
No,
he chose
uh,
math AHL.
Yeah, so AA is the most competitive math option available at the IB between all 4 options, AI and AA, SL and HL. AA, HL really kind of is the most competitive one that does keep all your options open. So I think that's a good place to.
It definitely strengthens your application, Devik. So keep it at a 6 or 7 and you're going to be rocking it. Okay, there's some questions here. Do you recommend doing a double major of economics and business, Manisha? Manisha, honestly, that would depend on what you want to do. But yes, you could definitely do a double major of economics and business. You may want to, sort of.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me what you want to do a little bit more about yourself?
So honestly, I'm really interested in running a business and business as major. But
Okay.
was researching, I found out that economics is a really important skill to have, and it can be really helpful as well if you want to run a business or do something in that field. So I was wondering if doing a double major with both of them would be more helpful, or should I focus and specialize on any one?
So Manishka, just to kind of answer your question, sorry, Gayatri, I'm just
No,
gonna pipe in
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I had a similar question back in the day when I was deciding between applying for business and econ. So I'm just gonna kind of take the lead here and answer. But business as a subject, as you're aware, has a little bit of everything, right? So business and economics go kind of hand in hand. There's a lot of an overlap. While economics is more focused on the theoretical aspect, business is kind of more to do with practical kind of application, right? So regardless of what you apply into, if you apply to the US, you kind of apply into business or economics, you apply for one major, the one that you're kind of more passionate towards, the one that, kind of your profile is standing out more towards, depending if you've done a lot more research and debate and, writing, and economics is kind of standing out, then that's kind of the trajectory I would move with. And if you kind of, have done some, opened a business or kind of, analyzed a particular business or done any internship more on the business front, I would pursue business. Either or, you always have the option of changing your major or adding that second major at the end of your second year in college. So at this point, I would kind of go with kind of the major your profile is standing out more towards. But you always have
absolutely.
a lot of the learnings are very, very overlapping. So as a business student, you will have economics as an elective, and as an economic student, you will have a lot of business electives. So it's actually two of the easiest majors to
double major
at college.
And you really don't need to decide that now, right? So just continue building your, keep your academics going strong and build your ECAs. And then, like Nenika said, see where you're stronger and apply for that. You can take a couple of classes in the other, see if that interests you enough to pursue a double major, a minor, a concentration,
Thank you.
Kushi's question is it better to do a core science like economics and then do business? Again, Kushi, that really depends on, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like what you see yourself doing later on in life?
So I'm actually majorly interested in computer science right now, but I'm also like exploring kind of maybe doing business at a postgrad level.
Okay.
This question was mainly because, like you mentioned, economics is more like academia related. So does that mean it's kind of better to do it
So
at an
Kushi,
undergrad?
so Kushi, I would say in terms of you're talking about your subject mix, if you should take econ or business, or if you want to apply to either or.
Apply to.
So you're confused right now between computer science and business. Is that the case?
No, she's asking whether it's better to do like a sort of a more academic undergrad and then an MBA.
Yeah, so again, boiling down to what your profile would stand out more for, very similar to kind of, what the question I answered earlier. You have the option again to do double majors as well. And yes, business can very well be done at a master's level or an MBA as well. So if economics is something that you're enjoying, it, yes, is a more theoretical subject. But again, your application towards economics or business should depend on the activities that you're currently pursuing and enjoying, and what your grades are like. Economics definitely does involve a heavier weightage towards math. So that math score being slightly higher, being probably one of the highest amongst your other subjects, is critical in that case.
And that's the same for computer science, right? So if you're interested in CS, then your math score is the most important. So I think it comes down to doing well in math. And many people, although computer science is a very big major, and so double majoring doesn't happen that easily, but many people do a CS plus econ or a CS plus business. So if CS is your core interest, I would say continue on that path. You can also do a minor in economics or business as well, or later do an MBA.
Okay, thank you.
Arjun, you had a question?
Yeah, actually, you mentioned interning for a company, right?
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, are there any specific companies you like recommend, or you can just take a look at all and they will all have the same weightage?
Yeah. So Arjun, in terms of internships, sorry, Gayatri, go for it.
No. Okay, go ahead.
I was just about to say that in terms of internships, I think what matters more, Arjun, is the work you do at the internship a lot more than the company. So a smaller company where you have a more active role, where you're actually working on a project, or you're analyzing some data, or you're actually kind of, involved in something start to end over the course of your internship, will add a lot more value than you doing work that's not as concrete or substantial in a larger form. So the work that you do matters a lot more than the company.
Okay.
Yeah, and Arjun, honestly, it's not easy to get an internship, right? Because after all, what can you offer at grade 9, 10, 11, 12 also? So it's really about finding someone who's willing to mentor you and to give you the opportunity to do a mini project. So for example, I've had students in the past where they've built an application computer science applicant built an application, redid a website, but often that wasn't used. But the person actually did all that work for the company. In turn, they may or may not have used it, but it was real work and real learning for the student. Similarly, someone else did a data science, data analytics project, taking home loan defaulting information. So the financial services company gave her dummy, like changed the names and all of it, because they can't share all this information. But then she actually did build a model, analyze the data. So you really have to find a place, like Nanika mentioned, where you can actually do something. Create a project for yourself. They may or may not use that, right? But you need to try and learn as much. Sometimes you spend a week shadowing people. It sort of depends also what your field of interest is. What are you interested in?
I'm not exactly sure right now. I'm like hovering between business and data science. So I'm not. I'm just
Okay.
So Arjun, an internship in kind of, a space where you're kind of analyzing some sort of data for a business, which combines
Yeah.
kind of your interest in both. So some sort of kind of that sort of work is what would stand out and kind of be relevant to the major that you want to apply into.
Yeah.
I mean,
Analyzing any sort of data, it could kind of be like consumer trends, or like, it could be like a company where, you're tracking purchases of a particular product, what's kind of affecting that, what the data is like, what the data is showing, depending on, marketing strategies or whatever other kind of analysis is being, depending on, of course, the company that kind of can offer something like this. I would recommend a firm where you probably know someone. Typically it's so that you actually have something, meaningful to do during your time, is what will really make a difference.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions that we can take?
Nothing else?
I think that's it, Gayatri.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gayatri, for
You're welcome.
with
Thank you,
sharing
ma'am.
the information and your knowledge. And thank you all of you for joining. I know it's late in the evening and you're probably done with classes and school and had a tiring day. But feel free to email us with any questions. We will be sharing this recording with you. So any questions that kind of come up, feel free to kind of reach out and let us know. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you.